Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the next video of the build. If you guys watched the last video, you know I'm waiting on parts to finish the engine. But for now, there's plenty of things I can get on with. I can, now that the engine bay is painted, I can now put the headlights in, I can put the wings in, fuse box, battery, to start putting everything back together. And then I'm going to finish off the rear brake line. So that's what I'm going to do for now until these parts arrive. As soon as they arrive, I can get the engine knocked out and then chucked back in. But let's get to it. Headlights are on, both sides. Both wings are on. I've got the bonnet on with my bonnet stay for now, because I think the other one's down there somewhere. I've got my washer bottle on. I'm using stainless steel bolts for all the new fittings on these, because if I can prevent this from rusting in the future, I will. So good thing about stainless, it doesn't really rust at all. I've even got the battery and the fuse box in. I'm actually probably going to put the arch liners on next. I've also, I don't know if I showed this in one of the last videos, but I've got the front flexies all in, front braided flexies. And I've actually renewed the sliders and boots because they were like seized in. So I've took them out, cleaned them all down, greased them up, put them back in. So they're good. I do want to get some new front pads because it's been stuck on. The rear pad is actually worn really thin. So I'm going to get a new set of pads. The discs are okay for now. They're fine. But yeah, arch line I think I'm going to put on next. And then I'm going to move on to the brake lines for the rear. The braided brake lines in the engine bay are finished. Got the rear one plumbed through into the bulkhead. I'll sort all of the inside once I get the car off the ramp and on the wheels, because there's not much room to open the doors right now, but engine bay wise, that's done and out of the way. I've also got the arch liners all on with all new clips and screws and stuff. I am going to be cleaning all of this old under seal off, because you can literally just pick it off. So I'm going to clean all of that off, and then I'm going to either put some under seal back on it or paint it, or not sure yet, but that's where we're at. Cams have arrived, so we can finish this. First thing, take all these sort of brackets that hold all the cams on off the top, but they need to stay in order, so I'll lay them out. But they are numbered. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But get them off. Those cams will lift out. Those ones sit straight in. I put it all back together. The old cams are out. The new are ready to go in. You can kind of tell the lobe size difference when you look really carefully, but it's really hard to see on the camera. But looking further at everything in the engine, it all looks very clean and healthy. I'm going to give the cams a good clean down, and the these little brackets, I'll give them a good clean as well. Make sure everything's spotless, and then I'll put some fresh oil on them, and then put them back. All right, so now that I've got the cams in and the cam cover caps, or whatever you want to call them, need to torque it down. So you start from the middle and then you work your way out. So done these two, then them two, then periodically I'll go to number 2 and then back to number 4, then 5 and then 1. So you're spreading it out essentially. 16 foot-pounds is what these are, if anyone's wondering. That is the spec, and then that little 10's like 8 foot-pounds. So gonna get this knocked out now. All right, so everything is timed up and the chain is fully back on. You can see here, these two lines meet up, the two little dots here. There's like 2 black links on the chain, and that dot goes in between 2. So as long as you got that right at the top and those lines meet, you can't really go wrong. And at the bottom, there's another black link here. And on one of these teeth, you can't see it here because the link now covers it, but on one of those teeth, there's like a little dot, and you can't miss it. And well, to be fair, I'll turn it around so you guys can see exactly what I'm on about. And if you got those in the right places, you cannot go wrong. You know, for a timing chain and cams and stuff on these Honda engines, it's pretty easy. As long as you get them bits right, you can't really go wrong. So I'll spin that round, show you what I'm on about, and then I can put more stuff back together. So as you can see there, that's what I mean by that little dot on that black link. So yep, got that on. All I need to do is put my little chain gear cover on. Now this thing basically stops that chain from being able to jump off, and that goes behind there. Yeah, don't want to forget to put that on. Everything's on and ready to go back. I've cleaned off all the metal on the side of the engine, so when I glue the timing cover back together, it stays glued and does not leak. You really want to make sure you do this job right the first time, because otherwise you'll have to do it again, and trust me, it is not fun. Okay guys, the engine is pretty much back together. All the auxiliaries on. I've given it a fresh lick of paint just to make it look a little bit better before I put it on. And this thing's looking a lot better. Don't worry about the overspray on here. That's going to get redone. And this plate cover, that's getting rid of and getting redone. What I didn't want paint on has been covered. Again, the sump, that's going to be redone, so that'll look fine. Next, I need to put flywheel on, clutch, and then get the gearbox in. But I want to give the gearbox a bit of love as well, because this thing is pretty disgusting. Yeah, gonna get that cleaned up so it looks like the engine, just fresh. I know it's not perfect. I could have spent weeks on here, sanded everything down and making it really, really pretty, but to be honest, as long as it's functional, I'm not too bothered. So, yep. Also need to get a auxiliary belt, because this one had aircon and obviously that's not going on the car. So need to get that sorted, get a new oil filter, and then intake and exhaust gaskets. I know I just said it the wrong way around, but things are happening, and soon this will be, well, no, not in there, that's a different car, up there. All right guys, big progress. The sump is painted and is now sealed on properly. The clutch and flywheel are all on and fitted, and the gearbox has been cleaned up, painted, and the mounts are finally on. The only thing stopping me from getting the gearbox attached to the engine is a little release bearing on here. The old one was a bit, I just really don't want to put an old one on there, so I basically forgot to order a new one, but I'm getting a new one sorted. Once that comes, I can put that on there, put the gearbox onto the engine and fire it in. I've also ordered a new intake manifold. I've ordered the different outlet for there. I've ordered a auxiliary belt, and then once it's all in the car, I'll then take the rock cover off and get that painted up so it looks fresh and nice. But until it's in, I'm not going to bother. But that's where we are, just waiting on parts, but things are looking good. I'm really happy with the progress, and this gearbox looks really good. I like it with these nice powder coated black mounts. Yeah, so soon we will be in there. The part I have been waiting for over a week is finally here, the release bearing. Now, gearbox, super glue that to the engine and throw it in. This engine is off in tonight. I've just finished work, I've got here, quite tired, but it's Friday, so who cares? And yeah, let's crack on. The release bearing is on. The clutch and flywheel's on. I've got the starter motor in as well, and it all fits all nice and good. The new intake is also on. I do need to put a gasket on that, but for now I'm just going to bolt it on so I can lift it up with the crane. But things are going back together. Oh yeah, new slave cylinder, and I've got coilovers, linkages. Stuff is happening finally. So let's get this put on. The engine is now in, I'm not going to say that. Finally, the engine is in the Civic. And I've done quite a bit of progress, did some last night, and it's now Saturday morning. I'll probably do this video to release later on tonight if I get time. But she's in, so let me show you what I've done so far. Obviously the engine's in. I've put the radiator in, I've done the gear linkages, I've done the clutch line. I've actually put one of the new coilovers on, and the first drive shaft is in. So yeah, good progress for going. All I need to do now, well, I need to do a few things, but I need a half shaft, which I forgot to order. So I need to order that, but you have to have all the coilover and stuff off. But look at these old ones, they look absolutely horrible. I'm really glad I got some new ones. So I need to take all that off to get the half shaft in, to put the other drive shaft in. So once that's here, I'll do all this side. But for now, I'm just going to be doing little bits in the engine bay. I need to get a coolant pipe to come across here. I'm still waiting for that plate and some gaskets to put the intake stuff on. So we're getting there. Hopefully this thing will be, you know, in a couple of weeks it should be back together, and then the wiring stuff should hopefully be done. So progress is progress, and we're getting there. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.